How's the exposure look? Welcome in, folks, to Tempe, Arizona. My name is Niall Cooper. My partner is Brett Vaughn. And Brett, we are just minutes away from the second of a two-game homestand here in Tempe, Arizona at Mullet Arena. Arizona State University hosting the University of Arizona Wildcats. And for anyone that missed last night's affair, it was a doozy. We got bonus hockey, and we got some really exciting action. Ultimately, the Wildcats came out on top last night.
Yeah, it seemed by period, shift by shift, the momentum was changing between both teams, and it made for a very entertaining hockey game. But I think if you talk to both of these coaching staffs, they might have lost a couple years on their life for just how tight that game was, and we expect the same here tonight.
And last night, Brett, we saw special teams really played a key aspect in the game for both teams. Is that something you expect the coaching staffs might have addressed coming into tonight, maybe to be a little bit more disciplined for either of these squads?
Yeah, I think it's always tough with these rivalry games where it gets so heated on the ice that you're going to be seeing more special teams opportunities. And so I think it's very advantageous for both of these coaching staffs to really hone in on what they did well, what they want to improve on, and maybe even what they want to show something new to their opponent tonight.
And, folks, we will see what exactly that is if Arizona State hopefully can get a win here on home ice tonight in front of a great crowd. Puck drop just around the corner here on ASU ACHA Hockey YouTube. folks, with that, it's time to take a quick look at the goaltenders in tonight's affair. First in the net for the opposing Wildcats tonight, it will be number 30, Hayden Gold. He was between the pipes last night, played a great game for the University of Arizona, especially down the stretch as things got very interesting in the second and third period here in Tempe, Arizona. At the other end of the ice, once again, also back in the net for the second night in a row, number 31, Nathaniel Glenn and Brett. Both these goaltenders showed a lot last night. Nathaniel Glenn, especially for Arizona State, kept them in the game at times. We'll see if he can do that again tonight.
Absolutely. If I was a betting man, I'd say he would. He's been the main starter for Arizona State this season, and from last night's display, you could see why.
Another good crowd here on hand tonight for an early puck drop. 6:30 drop. The teams will lean in, and we are underway in Tempe, Arizona. Wildcats, much like they did last night, a great night in the face-off dot for them. They win that opening draw here tonight. We talked about special teams early, something Arizona State will look to improve upon tonight. Hopefully the face-off dot as well as something that they worked on. Sun Devils creating havoc in the corner as they dog after the Wildcat D. Laying the body is Keeler as Walker takes a tumble. Into the neutral zone, the Wildcats across the blue line. That one pushed in front, trying to find it is Cade Olson for Arizona State. Wildcats emerge with it in the corner. Sun Devils just push that puck up against the board. Meanwhile, University of Arizona goes for a partial change. Back behind the play. A hard check laid on Carter Newland. That puck knocked down now. And the Sun Devils, as they go for a change, will corral it. Cade Olson and Ty Marchant break it out as Marchant puts on a nifty display of skating across the blue line now. For Arizona State, pushed in front of the net. That was Matthew Gross looking for his fellow forward, Jake King. Meanwhile, Ty Marchant lays a big check there defensively on Vilhauer. We saw some extracurriculars last night between these two teams. Nothing surprising given the nature of this rivalry. Turnover, quick shot on, saved by Gold. As Matthew Gross got a nice bounce. Arizona State creates another turnover down low, back up to the point, and Luke Chase can't quite handle it. Sun Devils trying to touch up, but they will go off sides.
No surprise, both of these teams coming out of the blocks, especially in terms of the physicality. It's always great to lay the body early in a game, usually your first shift out, to get into the rhythm of things.
That shot will be thrown on from center ice right into the breadbasket of Gold. So we see number 8, Anthony White, back on the ice. First shift of tonight's game. He had a great game last night for head coach Johnny Walker and company, as he'll send it down low. That puck swings all the way around, back up to the point. Kept in briefly, but then pushed ahead now. Blowing a tire across the blue line. The Wildcats forfeit possession of the puck. Rossi breaks it up, but here comes White for Arizona State. He'll look for a shot. Blocked away by the defense and into the corner. Renfrew moved that puck around. Wildcats trying to catch Arizona State on a partial change. That breakout pass just a little out of the reach of Erickson. And Cross will chip that in. Wildcats finagle across the blue line. Look for a sharp angle shot. Nothing there. Picked up by Maloney. He'll switch spots and head down low. Maloney can't handle the pass. Ben Trace trying to poke it loose for the Sun Devils. Erickson shot, sticked away. Sun Devils played a lot of the first period in their own end last night. trying to avoid that for the second consecutive night. As Gold just cleared that all the way up the ice. Back now to Erickson. Bramlin. And the Wildcats chip it in, back behind the net. Glenn pokes it off of his own net. Luke Chase spinorama, throws it up the half wall. Shot back on from the Wildcats, saved by Glenn. Ty Marchant surveys the scene. He'll walk it up. Fake the shot across the blue line. Walk it down low into the middle. Coming up is Luke Chase into the play. His shot goes wide left. Kept in by Butler. Back over to Luke Chase. His shot blocked away. Here come the Wildcats. Maybe an odd man rush for the University of Arizona. Ty Marchant, the only man back. He gets a stick down. The pass goes across, and Glenn makes a big save. Getting back into his net is Glenn. Pushed in front. Shot. Saved by Glenn. Rebound. Push wide. Backhander. Another save by Glenn. And the Sun Devils clear it all the way down the ice. Nathaniel Glenn busy early here in the first.
Might be part Nostradamus, Niall, as you're previewing the great Arizona State netminder, and he showed some of his best there. 3 or 4 saves. Half of those shots didn't even know where the puck was coming from. I'd like to see Arizona State doing a better job of boxing those Wildcats players out, lifting sticks, especially around that blue paint.
Ruh will lean in for the Wildcats here. He'll win it. Back to the point, shot through. Glenn knocks that one down with the glove, and we'll cover it up. Off the stick of Chioka. And an interesting mix last night, Brett. It seemed like a good balance of Arizona and Arizona State fans in attendance. Quick 2-hour drive up to Tempe, Arizona. Not too hard for a lot of these folks. Both teams and programs sport a great collection of fans. As after last night's win, the Wildcats currently hold a slight advantage as they work towards trying to win their 10th consecutive Cactus Cup.
Carson Cooch, the senior for Arizona State, he's in the lineup tonight, and he's already trying to make his presence felt as the Wildcats win offsides.
It was the special teams last night that got Arizona State back into the contest. Interesting to see if tonight maybe they try to get a little more physical to get themselves into this game. The Sun Devils do sport some strong power forwards up front, as well as a lot of speed. We saw that when that forecheck really started to kick in the later stages of the second period last night, as it does right here. Kylie Ram off the turnover. He'll push it down low. Gross gives chase. Now to King. He'll throw one on. King keeps it alive at the blue line, but he's just a hair offsides.
Unfortunate for King, as he was able to glove that puck down, but just not inside that blue line, or else there would have been a great scoring opportunity for Arizona State.
Sun Devils win this draw. They'll chip it in behind Gold. He can't settle it down. Up along the half wall. Kept in by Tonez. Here come the Wildcats. Tonez will retreat. A 2-on-2. The Sun Devil forwards. A good job getting back. As Kate Olson, the first one of the puck. He'll leave it for Tonez. Tonez tries to chip it. His clearing attempt would not go. Kate Olson makes no mistake getting that up into the neutral zone. And the Sun Devils not messing around early in this game, just trying to get the puck out of their zone. A big check laid by Ty Marchant. He's gotten physical early in this game. Marchant lays another body. The Wildcats making a change back behind the play. One of their players loses a stick. Sharp angle shot on from the Sun Devils will be held by Gold.
Really like Arizona State playing the body tonight. Usually if you're able to physically hit your opponent, it's going to pay off later in the hockey game. And for Marchand, he's one of those guys that leads the way for Arizona State in the physicality department.
Wildcats looking for another long breakout pass. Marchand not just playing physically, played some good defense there, and Arizona State will go offsides. Ty Marchand, definitely one of the key cogs in this lineup for Arizona State. We saw him quarterbacking that power play last night, Brett, that got the Sun Devils back into the game. And I think it's a safe assumption to say he'll be playing an integral part tonight if Arizona State is able to get a win here at the Mullet. Wildcats navigate it down the wing. Sharp angle shot, save, back to the point. Maloney loses the handle. Now it works its way back up. A high wrister. Goes harmlessly wide of the net. Hegelson activated. Back over. Another save by Glenn. The Sun Devils can't get it clear. Kept alive. Wildcats at the right point. Shot on through traffic. Saved by Glenn. Loose in the slot. Push back ahead. Sun Devils just trying to get it out. They cannot. Hegelson keeps it alive. Backhands one into a dangerous area. Picked up just wide net. Oh, it's in the blue paint, but Ty Marchand gets the clear. Hegelson once again keeping it alive. He'll rim it all the way around to Maloney. Penalty coming up here to Arizona State back behind the play. The goaltender just getting off the ice, but the Sun Devils touch up. And we will have a stoppage after a nice extended shift for the Wildcats.
With the Wildcats pinning Arizona State in their own zone, it ended up resulting in tired bodies, tired legs for the Sun Devils, and Matthew Gross is the guilty party.
Ben Chase will lean in defensively for Arizona State. Off the draw, and it's won by the Wildcats. That shot on, saved by Glenn. As we talk about quarterbacks, number 7, Nicholas Chioka, the Wayne, New Jersey native. Definitely the quarterback here for the Wildcats, and he gets the puck. Chioka directing traffic after the pass. That squeaks through Glenn, and Arizona State able to pick that up and send it down the ice. That puck just flirting right now with the goal line. Wildcats get the drop pass. They'll skate it in. Knocked down, no call, as Vogler had that game-winning goal last night in overtime for the University of Arizona.
Sun Devils don't mind this at all. The referee's not going to blow that whistle. They'll just keep eating that clock.
1:11 and counting remaining on the power play for the University of Arizona. They finally emerge with the puck. Chioka at the point. He'll swing it across. Vogler can't handle it. He'll pick it up after half wall. Walk it in the middle. Down low, University of Arizona looking for the set play. Push back in front. That shot just wide. Glenn might have gotten a piece of it. The Sun Devils hanging on for dear life. Chioka swings it back up to the top. Delane, not seeing the shooting lane, was Walker. Vogler gets past Chase. Swings it over to Chioka. Chioka back up to Walker. Chase is without a stick defensively. That shot through traffic blocked. The Sun Devils can't get it clear. Back up now to the blue line. Chioka, he'll walk it in. Sends it down low. The touch pass in front, and Arizona State intercepts it, and they'll clear it all the way down the ice. Walker on the quick headman pass from Gold. Gets across the blue line. A delayed offsides coming here, the University of Arizona. And with 3 seconds left on the penalty kill, the Sun Devils seem to have skirted the danger by the skin of their teeth once again.
What a shift by Arizona State with that last penalty killing unit. Big props to Trevor Kennedy. He was able to track his man behind him as he was trying to sneak into the high slot. Great defensive positioning, allowed him to break the pass up, and then a little later in that shift, he was able to clear it all the way down, getting a much-needed change for Arizona State.
Special teams, always a key component of any game. As we mentioned, a huge part of last night's game, and the Sun Devils coming up early with a big kill in the first period tonight. Behind the net, getting a rough ride. Arizona State works it back up. Chase. He'll swing one behind the net. Short angle, trying to jam it in. Gold will seal the post, and we'll get a stoppage.
Good response by the Sun Devils with Gross coming out of the box, trying to apply that pressure back towards the Arizona end.
We'll see if the Sun Devils can tip the ice a little bit back to the left side of the rink here, as the Wildcats have a bit of momentum after a dangerous power play where they did everything but put the puck in the back of the net. Luke Chase steps in from the point. He'll settle down a bouncing puck. Newland steps in, whacks it back to Marchand. Marchand just trying to get a shot through. That puck in the pants of the Wildcat player. Sun Devils pick it up. Newland trying to swing it in front to his winger, and the Wildcats send it all the way down the ice for an icing. A bit of a broken play there.
Again, good push by the Sun Devils. They'll swap out lines as a tired Arizona group is still out there. And we saw what icings can do if you rack up a couple icings in a row, how that can really hamper you, and Arizona State end up getting a goal because of it.
Off the draw, quick shot on from King. Gold making that one look easy. As fans still filing in here to Mullet Arena. Maybe a few folks taking in the end of that Buffalo-Denver playoff game, Brett. I know you had your eyes on that one all afternoon. Also a big fan of the 49ers here, folks. Any 49ers fans, definitely feel free to tap in the chat. I know Brett Vaughn will appreciate any sentiment you have. Sun Devils keep it alive at the blue line. Just avoiding the check, sending it down low with Parmar. Parmar back on it. He'll settle it down, throw it through traffic. They score! Javier Parmar with a seeing eye shot. And Arizona State's up 1-0.
Great to see the freshman Parmar get in on the scoring sheet. His second goal of the year. And the Sun Devils, again, it was just great work. They had a couple of different lines rolling through, and all of them matched that intensity, matched the pressure they were applying to the Arizona Wildcats in their own zone, and it finally paid off.
Arizona State, they put in quite the shift defensively, stopping a great plethora of chances for the Wildcats on that Arizona power play, and then they go back the other way and right away get a huge goal. Kennedy gets laid out in the neutral zone. A big check from the Wildcat forward. And here comes the University of Arizona in the all red. That shot blocked by Tonez. He'll send it up. Kennedy at the blue line. Him and Chase will force it out. Kate Olson out, not messing around. He'll throw it off of that forechecker for the Wildcats, and that goes into the bench of the Sun Devils.
See the intensity picking up, and now head coach Johnny Walker is very animated talking to that referee. I think he was not pleased whatsoever in that hit Kennedy had to take in the neutral zone.
Red hot, I think, would be a good way to describe this conversation right now. A very one-sided conversation, I might add, from head coach Johnny Walker to the official. Chad Berman now stepping in, offering a few of his thoughts. as he gives some direction to his defenseman. Offensive zone draw here for the Wildcats. The centerman for Arizona State is kicked out. And DeVillers will step in. Wildcats win another draw. Luke Chase, though, stops that puck up on the half wall, slowing things down. Him and DeVillers try to work it out, and they'll push it into the neutral zone. DeVillers gives Chase. Luke Chase will now step up, dislodge the puck from the man. The Sun Devils just trying to get this chipped in to the offensive zone. Renfrew threw it up the left wing. A Wildcat forward, the first one there, thrown in front, dangerously squirts out into the slot, but it's picked up by Cross. Cross chips it in behind the defense. Cross and DeVillers trying to break the puck up in the corner. Cross will swing it all the way around as the Sun Devils get a partial change defensively behind the play. The goal scorer Parmar back on the ice. As he'll knock it down, a Wildcat and Sun Devil tangled up back behind the play. Stop me if you've heard that one before. And Cross, a little bit of a pest right now, a thorn in the side of the Wildcats. He'll go for a change. DeVillers lays a check, and the Sun Devils get the puck. That Wildcat forward, Hughes, looking to lay a big check. Just stepping out of the way was Newland. The intensity starting to ratchet up a bit. Hughes, the puck goes through his skates, will be picked up by a winger, thrown back on the frame of the net. And right now the theme for the Wildcats seems to be just throw the puck on the net and look for a rebound.
Looks to be the puck getting played out of play right on the center ice line, and so the faceoff will stay out of Arizona State's end.
Sun Devils finish the change. Ty Marchant just gets that across the blue line. And it'll be important, Brett, as the intensity continues to ratchet up. We know the love that is lost between these two teams, and we know that Arizona State definitely does not want to go shorthanded here again in this first period, as the power play unit for the Wildcats this weekend has looked very sharp. Chase lays a check, picked up by Marchant. He'll swing it around. Stepping in to keep it alive was Baird. Baird back on it, leaves it for Rossi. That shot blocked. And Glenn will settle the puck down for his defenseman. With speed now is Gross, broken up, however, at the blue line. Thrown on, no problem for Glenn as he'll push it into the corner. Wildcats behind the net. They'll move it low to high. That shot through traffic, glove down. No problem for Glenn with 5:36 remaining here in the first.
Arizona seems to have been really feeding off that energy they got from that big hit in the neutral zone, and the last few shifts now, they've been the one that have been putting their opponent, the Sun Devils, on the presser.
White swings it all the way around. Quast is just able to chip it out. Sun Devils having quite a time right now getting this puck cleanly out of their own end. An icing assessed here to the Sun Devils as Kennedy was just a half step behind the defense for the Wildcats. As I think Kennedy letting the defender know that he had a step on him.
going to be important for Arizona State right now to get a clean breakout. Last few shifts, they haven't been able to do that, and that allows Arizona to keep the puck in the offensive zone.
Wildcats, another offensive zone face-off win, allows them to keep this pressure ratcheted up. White pokes it across the blue line. The Wildcats will just chip it right back in. And now a chance for Arizona State to hopefully get a quality breakout here as they get a couple fresh forwards off the bench. Chase has a hard time getting it across the blue line, but he does. Chase on it now, down low, throws it in front. He had Newland making a move to the front of the net. Butler lifts his stick. Chase steps in to support. Juicy rebound now comes out. Butler couldn't get to it, and he'll deflect that puck up into the stands.
That's been a hot section this weekend. If you're a fan coming in here into Mullet Arena, you want to sit on that side of the ice. We saw 2 pucks go over the glass, and now we see another one coming in for tonight's game. And credit to that fan. He gives it to a young kid. Definitely getting some brownie points when he gets home.
Sun Devils swing it around behind the net as they finally win an offensive zone draw. That shot through traffic. Gold doesn't know where it is. Sun Devils trying to pick it up. And it'll be skated ahead by Walker. Dylan Walker down the wing, cuts it into the middle. He's looking for the pass to the back door. And my, oh my, if he would have gotten that pass to connect, he had Jack Curley wide open on that back door.
Did like the Sun Devils' effort, though, on the back check. And that's important if you're a forward to not quit on the play. If you turn the puck over or one of your teammates does in the offensive zone, you want to go ahead and hustle back, because who knows, if you can apply enough pressure on your opponent, you might be able to get the puck going the other way yourself.
Luke Chase steps in, first one to the loose puck. He'll skate it up himself, gain the red, and dump it in. Gold comes down to settle it. Chase would have been a high touch if he had played it. Kennedy, a nice job to get that deflected in. No icing as he goes to the bench for a change. A big check laid behind the play by the Sun Devils, and that will be a penalty coming up here. Number 21, Carson Cooch, will be the guilty party, as he does not agree at all with that call. The referee throwing his hands up as if to say, what else could I have called?
And that's one of those penalty calls as well where in such a tight hockey game where the physicality hasn't been played at a high level, you're trying to toe the line as a player to see what you can or can't get away with, and that seems to be one that probably for both teams need to be registered, that the referees are going to be calling that type of hit every time.
Sun Devils going shorthanded here once again, second time in this first period. Chioka, that shot through traffic, saved by Glenn. Second shot, couldn't get through, and the Sun Devils get it clear. That first power play for the Wildcats yielded a handful of grade A scoring opportunities. Nathaniel Glenn has been very sharp early here, and he will surely be leaned upon again. As the Wildcats get it in, back to the point. Chioka steps into one. That puck loose in front of the blue paint, saved by Glenn. Another shot, and they score. A juicy rebound squirted out to Dylan Walker, and he made no mistake as he rips that top shelf, and it's a tie game, 1-1.
Shooting gallery ended up opening it up in front of the goaltender, Glenn, and again for the Sun Devils, I know it's tough to react when you're trying to face all these rebound opportunities from the Wildcats, but it's very poignant for you to try and at least box up or at least lift a stick of an opponent to try to maybe instead of give up 5 rebound chances, maybe only give up 2 or 3.
And we spoke about it, the Sun Devils trying to avoid going shorthanded tonight. As that puck's loose in the blue paint, the Wildcats trying to get a lead as Nathaniel Glenn staying busy. That power play for the Wildcats dangerous, and they do finally connect on the second trip for Arizona State to the bench. Nice pass from Gross, finds Kylie Ram. He'll swing it in. King and Ram work it down low. Gross now gets sent down to the ice. King comes in, lays a body trying to pick up the puck, and that will be a penalty assessed here to Arizona State. Head coach Johnny Walker back behind the play, his arms crossed. Definitely not too happy. As King trying to plead his case to the official. The official having none of it. And he's now letting Kylie Ram know as well here, partner, to be a little bit careful himself and calm down.
And it seems to be with this crowd as well. The energy from this crowd is leaking onto the ice, where you can see some of the frustration being shown by Arizona State right now. And really interesting note too, with Chad Berman barking at one of his players to come back on the bench. He was giving a little too much lip service to the Arizona State player King heading to the box. And even for the Wildcats, they're trying to keep their composure as well.
Some veteran coaching from the Wildcat bench. As this coaching staff recognizes the opportunity here for them late in the first period to potentially go up as the Sun Devils get themselves into penalty trouble here. And Walker, the goal scorer, chipping it into the middle of the ice. Olsen had to step in. He'll slow it down, but can't get it out. Chioka, that shot deflected, back behind the net off the glass. A big check laid by Olsen, and the Sun Devils able to clear it. Tonya steps in, first one to the puck is a vacant pass from the Wildcat defender. Couldn't find the breakout man. And now the Sun Devils a chance to just eat some clock here defensively. A minute 10 remaining here on the man advantage for the Wildcats as they set it up behind their own net. Gramlich with speed up the left wing. He'll skate past three Sun Devils, but gets separated from the puck. A chance to clear it now. Vockler seals the wall. Vockler walks the line. He'll swing it back over to Maloney. That pass a little hot to handle. Maloney back on it. He'll send up to Vockler, but Vockler was trying to swing down low. End of a long shift for him. Giving chase is Kylie Ram, however. Maloney having to deal with that in front of his own goaltender. And Maloney's pass misses the mark. The Sun Devils just send it back down the ice. 25 seconds left on the man advantage for the Wildcats. Luke Chase activates. Wildcats send it down low as they outnumber Arizona State in front of the net, but the pass couldn't get there. The Sun Devils trying to get it clear, just kept alive. Zillen walks the line, his shot blocked, and that will squeak out into the neutral zone. And we will end a spirited first 20 minutes here tonight, tied at 1-1. And Brett, a few positives for the Sun Devils to take into the break, but the same problems we saw last night starting to rear their head once again.
Yeah, and it's really that case for both teams. It might just simply be whoever's going to be the more disciplined outfit tonight is going to be the winner, because both of these teams are great on the power play, and if you keep giving chances to one another, somebody's going to eventually cash in.
Both teams cashing in once in the opening frame. We will go to the first intermission tied here in Tempe, Arizona. The score 1-1, and folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a quick 15 minutes here with more exciting men's Division I hockey here on ASU ACHA Hockey YouTube.
Hello out there, we're on the air, it's hockey night tonight. Tension grows, the whistle blows, and the puck goes down the ice. The goalie jumps and the players bump and the fans all go insane. Someone roars, Bobby scores at the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Second period, where players dash with skates aflash, the home team trails behind, but they grab the puck and go bursting up and they're down across the line. They storm the crease like bumblebees, they travel like a burning flame. We see them slide the puck inside, it's a 1-1 hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Third period, last game in the playoffs too. Oh, take me where the hockey players face off down the rink, and the Stanley Cup is all filled up for the champs who win the drink. Now the final flick of a hockey stick and a one gigantic scream. The puck is in, the home team wins the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Even while we sleep, not foresee this thing happening to you. If I look hard enough into the setting sun, my love will laugh with me before the morning. I see your dirty face hide behind your collar. What is done in vain? Truth is hard to swallow, so you pray to God to justify the way you live a lie, live a lie, live a lie. And you take your time, and you do no crime. Well, you made your bed, I made mine. Because when I arrive, I'll bring the fire, make you come alive. I can take you higher, what this is. For God, I must now remind you, let it rock, let it rock, let it rock. Now the son's disgraced, he who knew his father when he cursed his name, turned and chased the dollar, but it broke his heart, so he stuck his middle finger to the world, to the world, to the world. And you take your time, and you stand in line, where you'll get what's yours. I got mine. Because when I arrive, I'll bring the fire, make you come alive. I can take you higher, what this is. For God, I must now remind you, let it rock, let it rock, let it rock. Yeah, Wayne's World, Planet Rock, panties drop, and the top. And she gon' rock to the camera stop. I sing about angels like Angel Eye. Rock, and pay my life. Rock, and Sam die. And Emma and Tamara. Wow, I'm in here like, what's up, mechanic me? I can fix you up, I can you up, I can get down. Shout it, we could go wherever, just pick a town. And my jewelry is louder than an engine sound. Big egg rocks like on the ground. Dirty like socks that's on the ground. We say, because when I arrive, I'll bring the fire, make you come alive. Cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. Cause you're a sky full of stars. Cause you light up the park. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. Cause in the sky full of stars.
Welcome back in, folks, to Tempe, Arizona on ASU ACHA Hockey YouTube. My name is Niall Cooper. My partner is Brett Vaughn. And Brett, an exciting opening frame tonight, and not too surprised. We saw a little bit of everything, some physicality, some penalties, and ultimately we ended up tied going into the intermission. What do you think the talks were at the intermission for the Arizona State coaching staff?
Yeah, I thought for Arizona State they did a good job of weathering some periods of play where Arizona was dominating them more so, and they were able to get a lead to start the game. But again, it comes down to that discipline. If they can be more disciplined than the Wildcats, I think it's a safe bet that you're going to walk away the victor tonight.
Nathaniel Glenn, a number of big saves in that opening period, especially shorthanded, maybe saving a couple more goals that the Wildcats could have possibly had. As he gets his equipment on, Arizona State manning the goal to our left this period. Wildcats manning the goal to the right. A long change. We saw that pop up last night more than a time or two. And mostly it was the Wildcats who seemed to take advantage last night in the second period of the long change, at least 5-on-5. And that will be key for the Sun Devils here to see if they can bounce back with a better start to the period, as they've been a little slow off the line in this series against the Wildcats, seemingly every period we've played thus far. A couple seconds were left on that penalty to King. The Sun Devils now back to even strength. Olsen will activate, send it down low. Kylie Ram lays a check. Ram just unable to get his stick on that clearing attempt. Maloney into the slot, broken up by Gross. Gross back on it, off the half wall, kept alive at the blue line by the Wildcats. Both teams having a little trouble corralling the puck. A turnover, saved by Glenn. Kick back up to the blue line, and King will soccer it out. Chase puts on the brakes, pushes the puck up. Sun Devils turn it over in the neutral zone. Walker, a little sky pass into the slot. Almost worked out for the Wildcats. Butler for the Sun Devils brings it back across. His shot blocked by the captain. That shot finds a way into the upper corner. The Sun Devils score off a turnover in the high slot, and it's 2-1 Arizona State.
Great work by that forward group of being able to pressure that Arizona defense, cause a turnover. And what do you know, Matt Keeler, back-to-back nights, popping in a Gino, and he was in the right spot, that third man high, where you're able to cover for your forward line mates defensively, but if they get that turnover, you're in a grade A scoring spot, and he wires that one past Gould.
And Keeler, for the second time in as many nights, getting his name on the score sheet. And the Sun Devils doing the same thing they did last night against the run of play in the second period, getting the lead. Glenn, no problem as he corrals that with the glove.
It's also going to be important for Arizona State to do on the defensive end is to try and clear out the space so in front of the goaltender, Glenn, so he could be able to have vision of being able to go and see that shot coming from the point. Wildcats like to put those bodies in front And against a good goaltender like Glenn, if you can get enough traffic in his vision, you can get one by him.
Awkward shot from the right half wall. Finds itself now across the blue line for Arizona State. Kylie Ram giving a hard ride into the corner. Freezing a shot. Back to the way the Wildcats. The puck still moving a little quicker than some of the players can keep up with it. It rolls right off the stick of the forward. And Butler in behind the defense. He splits the D. Butler swings it around the net. Given just enough of a check that the Wildcats are able to clear it. Marchant, a nifty little spinorama. Maloney on it now for the Wildcats. Maloney up to the blue line. Crosses Erickson. Erickson trying to deke past Marchant. Marchant gives him a hard check. Wildcats, that puck back at the point now. Shot through traffic, blocked by Friesen. His pass kept alive at the blue line by the Wildcats. Parmar just trying to get it clear off the wall. Erickson on all fours is able to keep it in. Friesen now will eat a check, swing it around to Marchant. Marchant gives a nice little sky shot all the way down the ice. And that'll afford Arizona State an opportunity to change. DeVillers in the corner. As King and Gross give chase. Gross on it now. Into the slot. One-timer. Gold pushes across. And looking to the heavens is Arthur DeVillers. A great goal-scoring opportunity for him.
Arizona State, again, having some success this period on the forecheck as they were able to create the turnover in the corner and find that third man high in the high slot. And this time it was DeVillers, and unfortunate for him, Gold was able to make a great save.
Sun Devils win the draw. That puck loose, thrown towards the net. As Keeler looking for a second. Cade Olson an active stick. He'll block the shot. Sun Devils off the half wall, can't get a clear. Olson down low, just seals it along the boards. As two Wildcats try to dig it out. Bachler couldn't quite get the handle on it. Kicked in at the blue line, but pushed out now by the Sun Devils. Here comes Keeler, looking for the shot, saved by Gold! And that puck pushed into the corner. Gross still on it. His pass wouldn't go. Cade Olson out, checking his shoulder. Sees he has a couple fresh troops coming off the bench, so he'll swing it around to Parmar. Parmar now up into the neutral zone, where Newland had a chance to play it. The Wildcats, however, pick his pocket. Once again, the Sun Devils not able to get it clear out of their own end. Olson gets ridden off the puck. Back up to the point now. Maloney walks the line, shot through traffic, kicks into the corner. Chase, a nice job on the half wall. He'll skate that out himself. Backhands it up to Newland. And now Chase back on it once again in his own end. Chase splits the D with his pass. Cooch in behind the defense. Behind the net now, Cooch on his forehand. Wanted to swing it into the middle of the ice. He had Kennedy making a move towards the front of the net. And it's Anthony White. White back on defense. He'll poke it off the stick of Walker. Wildcats going for a change, but once again, making things difficult on the Arizona State defense. Parmar gets his head up, finds Chase, no icing as he'll deflect it down low. Cooch can't get to the puck, but lays a check. Now he'll lay another check, and he does get to the puck. Cooch forcing the Wildcats to turn back in their own end. That puck perfectly stopping just before it gets to the goal line. No icing. Another turnover at the blue line. Sun Devils trying to work it out of their own end. Parmar up the half wall. Anthony White will come in now. White heavy on the stick. He'll get it across the blue line. Wildcats will touch up as they were offsides for a moment. And you'd think that we were looking at a bakery here, Brett. This neutral zone has more turnovers than I've seen in quite a long time, just popping up left, right, and center at the moment.
Not much of a flow. It seems that whoever the forechecking team is creating some confusion, but not enough to really create a turnover or a scoring opportunity.
And with that aggressive forecheck that especially the Wildcats have right now, if you're the Sun Devils, how do you get around that and manage to get the puck out? Because certainly you do not want to keep turning over at their own blue line as they have been for the last few minutes.
Yeah, it's just important, especially with how physical it is right now, to just chip that puck out, take the hit, and live to fight another day.
Sun Devils assessed an icing here. This game following a very similar script to last night. This game, much like me on the dance floor, not a whole lot of rhythm at the moment.
You're selling yourself short there, partner. I've seen you bust a rug or two.
I may have busted a toenail or two as well, but that remains to be seen. As the Sox are doubled up tonight, in fact, folks. A little chilly here in Mullet Arena. We're definitely used to the chill down at the Mackey as we post up rinkside every game. Up in the press box here at Mullet Arena. Some very nice digs last night and tonight. And with that, a nice crowd showing up as well. And you go back to that goal, Brett, that Arizona State scored this period to go up 2-1. Very innocuous play, and really ever since then it seems that the Sun Devils have been content to hunker down and just kind of play a defensive game.
I think they're just trying to get their rhythm back as there's another unsuccessful breakout, and I think the more they can just try and kind of coexist rather than really prod at the Wildcats, I think that's going to be successful for them, because we saw in that first period the Wildcats, when the intensity and when the animosity especially was starting to ramp up, they seemed to be the team that really thrived off the more than the Sun Devils.
That shot from the point saved once again by Glenn. Fresh group coming out now for Arizona State, as the Sun Devils continue to look for a clean breakout. The linesman a little jumpy on that, as he calls his own number, says my bad. Now we do get a clean draw. Won by the Wildcats. Sharp angle shot saved by Glenn. Chase gets the clear. Marchant off the glass. Maloney tried to kick that one to keep it in. Cooch able to get there and force Gold to have to play the puck. Cooch now once again giving chase. He'll create a turnover. Kennedy back up to the point. Shot from Marchant blocked. Luke Chase, the lengthy defenseman, will slow things down as he knocks down the forechecker for the University of Arizona. Cooch, touch pass, leaves it for Ben Chase. All alone, he'll look for a shot, blockered away by Gold. Chase in the corner, gets physical. DeVillers comes in to help him out. DeVillers picks it up on his backhand, thrown in front for the quick one-timer, saved by Gold off the stick of King. Very similar to the goal they scored earlier. The Sun Devils just a quick turnover, forcing it up into the slot, catching the University of Arizona napping, and Jake King, a great goal-scoring look for him. Gross sizes one up off the stick of the Wildcats. That'll go over the net. As King stays physical, laying the body. Olsen steps in, keeps it alive at the point. DeVillers whacks it back down low. The ice starting to tilt now in favor of the Sun Devils. Olsen thinks about stepping in. That puck finds its way to him anyway. DeVillers on his backhand tried to swing it up to King. And now the Wildcats finally get a clearance. Tonez pushes it up the left wing, but he's offsides and will have to touch up. Ruh up the left wing. He'll rip one on. Save by Glenn. That was a heavy shot, and he's forced to cover up the rebound.
That was really Arizona's first good chance in the second period. Credit to the Sun Devils of being able to apply pressure. They're having some success, like you mentioned, partner, on that forecheck, especially when they can operate underneath the goal line and catch Arizona puck watching, and they can go ahead and sneak in a player back door and get a good scoring opportunity from it.
Keeler will lean in defensively. Get some help from his winger. Parmar now swings it back to White. White had Keeler. Now Keeler back on it, on his backhand. As the Wildcats do a good job crowding the ice across the blue line. So the Sun Devils will like this time to just chip it in. Newland in the slot, one-timer, a bouncing puck, and Butler hits that one just a little high. As he pulled out the 9-iron in that one, maybe needed the 7-iron. Wildcats changing back behind the play. They try to force one into the slot. Anthony White, a good job to push it ahead. Newland now, end of a long shift. He'll chip it in. And a penalty will be assessed here to the Wildcats.
Looks to be a hooking call. And the Arizona forward is trying to argue that one. That's Cooney there for Arizona. And the Sun Devils, again, it's going to be whatever team's going to be the more disciplined of the two, most likely going to win the game, and the Sun Devils now get to operate for themselves on the man advantage.
And we've seen a lot of the shorthanded variety of the special teams for Arizona State tonight. Chance now for them to work on the man advantage side of things, and they'll get the face-off win in the offensive zone. Newland sends it down low. Some quick touch passing over to Marchand from one knee. That shot a little high, but it's kept in. Gross skates into the middle. He'll drop it to Marchand. Marchand wanted to rip a shot. Didn't see a good shooting lane, so he'll delay. Give it back to Newland. White. Rather, that was King giving chase on the puck as the Wildcats were getting aggressive, but they can't get it clear. Gross walks it in. Rips one. Kicked away by Gold. Back up to Newland. Coming in. Late is Gross. He'll delay. Give it to Marchand. Marchand looking to go down low. He does. Newland gets it poked off his stick, though. Wildcats can't get it clear. Extended zone timeout for this power play. Marchand walks the line. His shot wouldn't go. And the Wildcats will send it all the way down the ice and get a much-needed change.
Arizona's penalty kill was bending but did not break, as now Arizona State will swap out their power play units.
Marchand stays on the ice as he gets taken down. Sun Devils skated ahead. Keeler up the left wing, trying to pick that puck up off of the half wall. Keeler's still there, trying to be the first one to the puck, as neither team can really get a clean handle on it at the moment. The Sun Devils finally get it back up to the point where Marchand settles it. Olsen down low to Kylie Ram. Kylie Ram gets stripped of the puck by Hodgson, but Marchand on it now at the blue line. Marchand and Kylie Ram play pitch and catch. Marchand up top as we are even strength. The Wildcats get the kill as Keeler now can't find it. Back behind the net. DeVillers swings away at the puck. The Sun Devils do get it back. And the Wildcats will get a couple of fresh troops on. Olsen sees DeVillers. He'll settle it and rip one high over the net. White throws one on. Waffle boarded into the corner by Gold. Chase now fresh off the bench for the Sun Devils. He'll push it ahead, and Kylie Ram, unfortunate, he was falling down, and as he did, gets his stick in between the legs of the U of A defenseman. And it looks to be only one penalty called here, will be on Arizona State. With 6:38 on the clock, the Sun Devils could not capitalize on their own man advantage, and now will be the Wildcats' turn.
Interesting too, once Kylie Ram was signaled for a penalty, he also might have been another call that was made as well.
Only one Sun Devil in the penalty box at the moment. However, I believe we will have to give you a designation of Eagle Eyes partner as a second Sun Devil player skates on the bench. It's DeVillers. 2-minute misconduct assessed to DeVillers.
Actually looks to be a possible bench minor, as they have right now Kylie Ram with a big 4 on the scoreboard for a 4-minute penalty he has to serve.
A little confusion presently on the ice.
No confusion though on what the fans want to see as they're chanting ASU.
Fans showing their support for the Sun Devils, who feel a tad wronged. Scorekeeper does get a 2-minute minor officially on the clock for Arizona State. So a 5-on-4 man advantage here for the Wildcats. That shot blocked by Chase. He'll send it all the way down the ice. And a chance here for Arizona State to maybe rally with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Skated in by Vockler for the Wildcats. He'll send it back to Chioka. Over to Walker. Walker goes down low. Touch pass to Chioka. Blocked away by Friesen. At the left point, Walker will keep it alive for the Wildcats. Chioka through traffic. Saved by Glenn. Sun Devils first one on the puck. Can they clear it? They cannot. Friesen gets it stripped away. Walker, he'll set back up. Over to Chioka. Through traffic, gloved by Glenn.
Sun Devils, great job on the penalty kill. Hunter Friesen blocking a shot. And another Sun Devil blocking another one. And doing a good job not allowing any pucks towards their netminder.
Ben Chase will lean in against Curley. Curley does get that puck off of the tie-up, back to the point. One-timer goes ripping off of the boards and ski balls up into the netting. That faceoff will stay in the offensive zone for the Wildcats. Chase giving some directions to the wingers. Curley forced out now from the faceoff dot. And as a result, the Sun Devils win it. Chase a chance to clear. They'll get it as far as the blue line where it's kept in by Maloney. Marchand trying to lift a stick. Now Chase gets the puck, and he will get it sent all the way down the ice. .27 seconds and ticking remaining on the man advantage for the University of Arizona. Skating it in now himself is Gramlich. He'll drop it to Maloney. Maloney up to Stefan. Back up to Maloney. He'll shoot one through traffic, deflected. As Curley got that deflection, and it went just wide of Glenn. Sun Devils back to even strength. DeVillers trying to find it. It's in his skates. And the Wildcats will go offsides. A big kill for the Sun Devils partner. As the Wildcats power play, maybe the most anemic we've seen it so far last night or tonight. That chance that they had just now off of the stick of Curley, the deflection, the only real good goal scoring opportunity they created on the man advantage. I'm sure Nathaniel Glenn is plenty happy about that, as he was a busy man earlier in the first period tonight. Erickson can't get his shot through. Parmar, fighting through two Wildcats, is able to strip them of the puck. A heavy stick now, and the Wildcats trying to get back defensively. A 3-on-2 for Arizona State. Gross dekes it past the defenseman. Loses the handle for a moment as he's still trying to find the puck. Gross getting some help from King. The Sun Devils stay aggressive on the forecheck, and a big check laid back behind the play by Gross as he sends a Wildcat into the Sun Devil bench. King now gets laid out, and the Wildcats push it back up into the neutral zone.
Man, I don't think I've ever seen that in all of our 8 seasons we've been calling ASU ACHA hockey. As what a punishing hit. Ended up sending the Wildcat player overboard.
And we should note the senior Hayden Manning on the bench for the Sun Devils, one of the backup goaltenders, did get a shot, possibly a skate up around his head area. Now he does look okay back there. I think just precautionary, getting looked at by the training staff. But he was certainly right in the line of fire on that devastating blow laid by Gross. Sun Devils with the last change. See the group come out for the Wildcats. And so head coach Johnny Walker answers with the Ben Chase line. Chase will lean in the faceoff draw against Riley Ruh. Ruh ties it up as he waits for his wingers to step in. Down low, Tonez seals it. A big check laid by Ben Chase on Ruh. And that will be a penalty assessed to Ben Chase and the Sun Devils. Roughing will be the call.
And the call was made by the back referee, not the referee right up against the scrum. And so he must have seen something that deemed to be illegal as Ben Chase is heading to the box. Again, also too, might be a little bit being played in with the referees trying to keep little in this game with all the energy inside this building.
And the Sun Devils now without one of their top penalty killers in Ben Chase as he sits for 2 minutes. Wildcats back up to the point. Chioka, one-timer. Walker couldn't get his shot through. Walker. Chioka now on it. Chioka looks for a shot through traffic. That just misses. Walker picks up the loose puck to Chioka. Chioka and Faulkner exchange spots through traffic. They score! Vockler rips the wrister, looks to be deflected on the way in, and the University of Arizona ties the game up. It's 2-2.
And that's a Wildcats recipe for success in the offensive zone. Nothing pretty, just getting bodies and sticks in front of the Arizona State netminder and try to release a few shots up at the point. And it's been a successful recipe so far this weekend, and they tie the game up at 2.
And as you alluded to earlier, the University of Arizona seems to play better as the intensity in this game ratchets it up. And it was the intensity that really started picking up that shift or two leading up to the penalty by Ben Chase. And the Wildcats taking the energy from that moment and channeling it into the man advantage. And we will have another penalty assessed here to Arizona State. Once again, the back referee making the call. This time, the other Chase brother, Luke, will go to the box. The referee puts his hands up once again as if to say, I don't know what you want me to do, as he seems very confident and adamant in his call. This game suddenly becoming a little ticky-tacky.
Saw a little glimpse of it in the first period. The Sun Devils having a tough time trying to keep their composure. And it seems that in the second period, they're having that same trouble, maybe even more so. And you're really just allowing Arizona back in this hockey game with all these penalties.
Wildcats not going to complain at all as they go on the man advantage. They win the offensive zone draw and set up. As they get this power play at the top of the blue line, Vockler walks the line, blocked by those Sun Devils, and they'll get it clear. Walker elects to skate it in himself, chips it in behind the Sun Devil defense. He'll stop up. And just like that, the Wildcats back in. 1:30 remaining on the man advantage. Into the slot, Chioka, his shot deflected off the stick of Keeler. And Glenn will glove it.
Sun Devils, with all these penalties they've been having to kill, have done a great job for the most part. Not being afraid to get in those shooting lanes and trying to disallow any shots from the point of getting through.
Chioka fakes the shot. He'll work it over to Walker. Walker, his pass deflects right in front of the blue paint. And a nice save by Glenn. Wildcats keep it alive. 60 seconds remain on the man advantage. Through traffic once again. The Sun Devils can't get it clear. Deflected off of Friesen. Glenn knocks it down. Friesen will wicked wrist that one down the ice, and the Sun Devils hurry to the bench for a change. And once again, it is the same official making the call here on Arizona State. As they will go shorthanded, and I believe the back referee also assessing another minor here, Brett, possibly to the bench once again.
Yeah, the referees are talking about it right now. It's only one player for Arizona State in the box. And with Luke Chase's minor penalty still being served, we're probably going to have some 5-on-3 hockey for the Wildcats.
There were definitely a few moments in last night's game, when the officials got a little tight-lipped. Though overall it was a pretty even call last night. I think both teams would make that argument. Right now in the second period, however, the officials really giving it to Arizona State. Anytime they're stepping just one toe out of line, they're getting assessed with a minor penalty. Not to be lost in all of this, partner, Kylie Ram has been sitting in the bench for the majority of the second half of the second period.
Even though we're past December, you might be thinking if there's a snowman possibly being built with all this momentum with Arizona State heading to the penalty box. They took a couple of tough calls with the referees, but a majority of these penalties have been them allowing that sentiment of them being with the referees of being wronged, and it's been snowballing into just more and more penalties being done.
3 Sun Devils now sit in the box as the fans giving a little bit of lip service themselves to the officials. To go back to your previous point, funny you mentioned the snowman, as back behind the play, Nathaniel Glenn was having to sweep a large chunk of snow out of his own blue paint. That just shows you how much he's been having to move side to side here, as it's been all Wildcats in the offensive zone. The scorekeeper calling the referee back over to confirm the call and the penalties being assessed. And you have to think a 5-on-3 will be the end result of all of this, Brett, for the Wildcats.
3's a crowd in the Arizona State penalty box, as you can see on your screen, and that's definitely not where you want to be for any part of the hockey game.
Ben Chase, one of the veteran leaders on this squad, having an extended conversation with the officials. And back behind the play, we do have that back referee who's been making the majority of the penalty calls, having a conversation with the Arizona State players that are in the penalty box. And meanwhile, the main takeaway from this is that with 57 seconds left in this period, the Sun Devils will have to play 5-on-3 shorthanded for 35 of that. The Sun Devils win the draw, but they cannot get the clear as they set up in a triangle down low. Walker now walks it in. Back to Walker, looking for a shot. Elects to go down low. Back to Walker. That pass a little errant. Walker has to hurry, just keeps it alive. 35 on the clock in the period. 12 on the clock on the 5-on-3. Walker sends it down low. Back over to Chioka. Chioka opens up some space. Back to Walker. He can't corral it. Walker still on it. Sends it for a quick one-timer over Glenn. U of A walks it in. Glenn gets the blocker on it. Walker hurries back to the point to keep it alive. Walker still on it. Shot blockered away by Glenn. 3 seconds on the clock as Marchand lays a big check, and that will do it for the period. The Sun Devils finishing that period on the 5-on-3, as that was an initial penalty from earlier that did wind down, I believe, the first bench minor that was assessed to Arizona State. And as soon as that concluded, the 5-on-3 continued with the 2 actual penalties assessed to the players on the ice.
Great job by the Sun Devils to finish out that period strong. Great work by that 3-man tandem on the penalty kill. And we'll see if that can maybe get them out of this funk that they're in currently and finish this game strong in the third.
And Keith Carney, one of the veteran coaches here on the bench for Arizona State, coming over to settle down Luke Chase a little, as he has an animated conversation with the referee on his penalty that was assessed. And just like last night, we finished the second period here in Tempe, Arizona, knotted up at 2-2. The Wildcats will start the third period with a 5-on-3 man advantage. And folks, you do not want to go anywhere. Back in a quick 15 minutes here, we will have an exciting finish to this second game of the weekend series between Arizona State and the University of Arizona here on ASU ACHA Hockey YouTube.
Well, I went down to the local arena after see the manager man. He came from his office, said, "Son, can I help you?" Looked at him and said, "Yes, you can." Yeah, I want to drive the Zam do. Now ever since I was young, it's been my dream that I might drive the Zamboni machine. I get that ice just as slick as could be, and all the kids would look up to me. Yeah, I wanna drive the Zamboni. Yeah, I wanna drive the Zamboni. Yes, I do. Now the manager said, son, I know it looks keen, but that right there's one expensive machine. And I got Smokey who's been driving for years. About that time I broke down in tears. 'Cause I wanna drive the Zamboni. Yeah, I wanna drive the Zamboni. Yeah, I wanna drive the Zamboni. Yeah, I wanna drive the Zamboni. Yes, I do. All the small things, true care, truth brings. I'll take one lift, your ride, best trip. Always, I know you'll be at my show, watching, waiting, commiserating. Say it ain't so, I will not go. Turn the lights off, carry me home. Late night, come home, work sucks, I know. She left me roses by the stairs. Surprises let me know she cares. Say it ain't so, I will not go. Turn the lights off, carry me home.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make
Coming on to the light of day, we got many moons that are deep at play. So I keep an eye on the shadow, smile to see what it has to say. You and I both know everything must go away. What do you say? Spinning out, that is on my heart. It's like a bitter light in a touch of dark. You got sneak attack from the zodiac that I see off high spot. Keep the breeze and go. Go by
And welcome back in, folks, to Tempe, Arizona on ASU ACHA Hockey YouTube. My name is Niall Cooper. My partner is Brett Vaughn. And Brett, do we surely have one heck of a final third period ahead of us here between these two bitter interstate rivals?
Yeah, it has been no shortage of physicality, no shortage of animosity, and no shortage of penalties either, as both teams have been taking penalties, but Arizona State got in a real rut late into that second period, and so they're going to have to kill off a 5-on-3 for a minute and 4 seconds to start off this third period.
And the Sun Devils, they got through about 35 seconds of 5-on-3 to end that second period. But as you mentioned, over a minute of it here to start this period on a fresh sheet of ice. The only thing going Arizona State's way is oftentimes it's a little tough to start a period on the man advantage when you've already gotten partway through it.
It is, but the Wildcats this weekend have had a lot of practice on the man advantage, and I expect at least maybe one or two good scoring opportunities with having a two-man advantage. Looks to be the linesman trying to make sure and wrangle in the right players in to the penalty box. And so that's what's causing a bit of a delay here before this third period.
And still a crowd in the penalty box here for Arizona State. And we will start the third period here with the University of Arizona winning that draw, and they'll skate it right into the offensive zone. Chioka drops it over to Walker. Walker looking for the one-timer pass. A great read by Ty Marchant. He'll skate that ahead and just send it on frame. And Arizona State already killing off the first 20 seconds of the 5-on-3. Walker, the pass over. Chioka fans on the one-timer as he gets some jeers from the crowd. Chioka lines it up. Over to Walker, one-timer blocked away by Marchant. And that puck squirts all the way into the Arizona end. 17 left on the 5-on-3. Vockler walking it in. Sends it down low. The pass in front, blocked away by the defenseman Olsen. He'll lift the stick, try to seal it on the wall. Vockler skates it out. Up to Chioka, one-timer, saved by Glenn. Rebound in front of the net. Poked back behind from the seat of his pants. It's sent out. A breakaway now. Ben Chase. He scores! Out of the box and on the board, Arizona State leads 3-2.
And you can feel the crowd here at Mulder Arena going bonkers as Arizona State picked up where they left off after that end of the second period of getting some great blocks on the penalty kill. And that was able to spring Ben Chase coming straight out of the box, and he was able to make Arizona pay.
And the Sun Devils turning what looked like a dire situation with about 2 minutes of consecutive 5-on-3 time to their advantage as they get the kill and then get a shorthanded goal to take the lead. 5 seconds left here on the 5-on-4 now for the University of Arizona as they look for one final chance. Maloney through traffic, saved by Glenn. Chase gets it, sends it all the way down the ice, and Gold will have to come out to play it. King lays a check. DeVillers comes in as the Wildcats, a soft touch pass just out of the reach of Gross. Sinnel Sillin will skate it ahead, but he takes a hard check from Marchand. That point shot on, no problem for Glenn as he'll glove it down.
And after all that, the Sun Devils have killed off all of those power plays, and you could really feel a shift in this hockey game now in favor of Arizona State.
And it took until late in the extra session of overtime last night for us to get the 5th goal of the game. The Sun Devils getting it early here tonight in the 3rd, shorthanded. Looking for more now as King was trying to get in behind the defense. At that point, the puck bobbling. University of Arizona almost sprung on a breakaway. Vockler, his eyes about the size of a couple of discs. He just missed corralling that puck and getting in behind the defense by a hair. And Arizona State finally on the front foot here in this game. We will see how they manage their emotions down the stretch and if they can maintain enough discipline. In spite of the fact that they did get a shorthanded goal, you do not want to give this Wildcat team an opportunity on the man advantage once again. Parmar, a goal tonight. He'll push it ahead where the Wildcats skate it back up. Second chance now for Parmar. He'll go behind his net. Gets past 2 Wildcats. Tonez rips it down the ice. Giving chase was Butler as he was coming in hot, looking to lift the stick. Tonez knocks down the Wildcat forward. That puck pushed in front of Glenn. And a smart play by Butler just to get it down the ice. No icing. Helgson gets it up to the winger. Not only getting it in, but laying a hit was Hanran. Quast has to pick up his stick back behind the play as he was getting familiar with a couple of Wildcat players. As that puck deflects up into the netting for a stoppage.
Arizona State doing well on the forecheck. Again, really causing fits for Arizona, and that's been consistent this whole game.
And Brett, once again, we see Arizona State, they get a goal and then they seem to be very quick to retreat back into more of a defensive posture. As that will be an icing assessed to the University of Arizona. Maybe a bit of a tactical decision there by the Sun Devils, with it being the 3rd period and having a lead. King ties up the defenseman for Arizona, and so they'll swing it around. The referee running a bit of a pick. DeVillers comes in, lays a big check. The Wildcats forced to go back, regroup behind their own end. Up the half wall. Walker can't corral. Picked up by Chase. His shot blocked. Marchand will walk it in. He rips one on. Hard off of the wall, just wide of the net. Gross picks it up. Sun Devils trying to rinse, repeat, recycle. King shot from the point. Blocked away by Walker. He felt that one. Ouch. He heads back to the bench on one leg. Sun Devils skated up. Marchand across the blue line. He'll swing it over to the right. Over to Anthony White on the point. He'll send a hard rimmer around. Wildcats find it down low. A tired King motioning to the bench for the Sun Devils. He'll look for to get a change. Parmar finds the puck. Gross gets on his horse. Gross across the blue line around the defense, just loses the handle. King never did get off the ice. A long shift for him. He's still out there. White and Parmar now force the puck loose in the corner boards, where it can be picked up by Ben Chase, the lone goal scorer of this third period. He'll kick it in the corner. Cooch past the defenseman who's on his knees. Cooch lays him out. The defenseman for the Wildcats looking for a call, none coming. Shot blocked by Olsen. The Sun Devils send it all the way back down the ice where Vockler will settle it down. 6 minutes gone here in the third period. The Sun Devils sporting a 1-goal lead. Stefan lays a check on Kennedy. And now it'll be Maloney who skates it in. Maloney puts on the brakes, throws one across the face of the goal. Helgson at the point, keeps it alive, thrown on, deflected, and Glenn did get a piece of it. Maloney settling it down low. The Wildcats change behind the play. Helgson at the point, stops up, his shot blocked. Butler will headman it to Keeler. Keeler takes a tumble. Sun Devils just trying to make things difficult in the neutral zone right now for the Wildcats as Chase takes a check to make a play. Butler gets his feet moving across the blue line. He'll dish it over to Newland. Back down low to Butler. Newland knocking it down off the half wall. He wanted to get it back down low, but it's the Wildcats who emerge. Just on sides, the Wildcats send it all the way around. And a big check laid on Hunter Friesen, as you could hear the oohs and the ahs of the crowd in front of him. Newland also taking a check. He'll go to the bench. Glenn comes out, slows the puck down just a hair. Chase trying to corral it off the half wall. Cross is able to do just enough to get it out of the zone. Wildcats having trouble getting a clean entry into the Arizona State end at the moment. The Sun Devils flipping the script a bit from the second period.
What you're alluding to, partner, of noticing Arizona State of bringing in the reins and not being as aggressive as they normally were if it was a tie game when they keep getting these 1-goal leads. I think that's something they definitely have to change, because you do expect Arizona down a goal to start pushing like they have in these last couple minutes.
Sun Devils win that defensive draw. Off of the high glass, that puck stays in. Kylie Ram now, after his misconduct finally expires, back on the ice for the first time since early in the second period. Down low, Vockler in front, all alone in front of Glenn. Where's the puck? That shot blocked. Anthony White, a huge block, and he didn't even know it. At the blue line, the Sun Devils create a turnover. DeVillers almost sprung on a breakaway. Right back the other way is Maloney, a diving attempt to break it up from King as Maloney was trying to split the D. Turnover at the blue line. Walker, right back the other way for the Wildcats. He was all alone. And now the Sun Devils a chance to finish off that change as Parmar jumps on the bench. Tonya is trying to survey the scene. Chips out in the neutral zone. And he'll have a moment now to collect his thoughts as the Wildcats forced to tag up. Kate Olsen, touch pass off the half wall. Butler gets it in. Gross trying to touch it in front of King. Butler coming in, shot. King on the rebound, jamming away at it once, twice. Knocked into the goalie is Butler. And the Wildcats will send it all the way down the ice. That should be an icing.
And right on cue, Arizona State, a great job of going all 200 feet, of slowing it down in their own zone to come out with a clean breakout. Beautiful redirection play by Butler of just tipping that puck by him and his defender to Gross, and that's where all the chaos got started.
Wildcats get their centerman in the play. Ruh, he'll win it. .10-13 here left in the third period. And just as we predicted, an exciting third period. Lots of action both ways. Glenn certainly the busier of the two goaltenders, although Gold has been called upon several times in this third period. As Sun Devils not shy when a good opportunity presents itself to really get aggressive with the forecheck. We see that aggressive forecheck continuing. And they'll get the puck in. Gold pushes it in the corner. Caden Butler trying to seal the half wall for the Sun Devils. Gross on it now. Gross across the blue line. Butler whacking at it. Gross lifts a stick. Dodging a check. Gross walks it in. Over to Butler. He'll throw one on. Gross trying to drop it to Cooch from the seat of his pants. He can't quite keep it in. And now it's Ty Marchand. He'll slow it down, the defenseman. Versing over to Luke. Chase sends it up. Nifty pickup from Kennedy. He'll dump it into himself and give chase. Kennedy finishes a check behind the play. Sun Devils staying physical late in this third period. Glenn leaves it for his defenseman Marchand. Off the high glass. That will go all the way down the ice for an icing.
As we are just under 9 minutes left in the game, for how tight this game has been, tight checking that is, not too much space out there for either team. I really feel that if Arizona State can get one more goal, that just might do it. As time continues to get squeezed away here, every opportunity becomes a little more important for the University of Arizona as that shot goes off the skirt of the net. Luke Chase delays, wants Marchand. He'll have to hurry to get to that puck. Headmans it up to Kennedy, and he just gains the center line. The Sun Devils able to get a line change. East to west, that pass gets to Vockler. He'll chip it in behind the defense. That shot high over the corner of the net. At the blue line, the Sun Devils looking to spring it the other way. Kylie Ram up now to Friesen. Friesen, a nice active stick. Keeler a chance to keep it in, and he does. The Sun Devils just chip it right back in. A responsible group for Arizona State, just getting this puck in deep and then getting a change back behind the play. Smart play gets the Sun Devils out of their own end. DeVillers rips a hard one high. King now on the net, saved by Gold. At the blue line, can they keep it in? They just do. Down low, DeVillers off the head of the referee, I believe. He couldn't find it. And now Maloney will skate it up. Headmans it. Gross didn't see the puck as it was going right past him. And so it's Ruh in front. That puck just waiting around for someone to pick it up. And it is picked up by an Arizona State player, Gross. Long shift for him. Dekes around the defense. Backhand, forehand, and Gold makes a nice blocker save.
King into the corner. He'll lay a check. DeVillers, after the end of a long shift, gives enough of a chase to force a turnover. Tonez will just chip it back in. Tonez hustles back to the bench. The Sun Devils continuing to keep short shifts at the front of their minds. And we talked about Arizona State needing to be more responsible this period, Brett. I think they've done that pretty well ever since they've taken that 3-2 lead. Chase chipped it in, but gets back defensively. A check laid by Butler in the neutral zone. And the Sun Devils chip it back in. Butler and Newland give chase. Kylie Ramp picks it up off the half wall, drops it to Newland. Newland trying to walk it back up to Marchant. Has Marchant on it now. Up to Newland. He just deflects it down low behind Gold. 5:30 remaining in the third.
And part of that discipline, too, is really putting the onus on your opponent to really work hard for their scoring chances. Right now, the Sun Devils are doing that.
Nothing coming easy for the Wildcats. The Sun Devils playing a simple and disciplined game at the moment. Rossi just wants to get a shot on net, but it's blocked away by Chase. Chase and White in the corner. That puck squirts up to the point. Parmar touches it up now to White. White ahead to Cooch, just out of his reach, but the linesman waves off the icing. Wildcats trying to catch Arizona State on a change. Sun Devils making sure only to have 5 skaters on the ice. And now Quast will chase down Maloney. Maloney walks it in. Pardon me, that was Vockler. His shot blocked. Kept alive at the point by Helgson. He rips a hard wrister wide of the net. Just over 4 minutes remaining. As that no-look backhand pass from Vockler right up the middle of the ice. And back behind the play, Vockler on all fours. He got a stick that looked to be courtesy of Tyler Kylie Ram. The official instantly put his arm up. And not sure if there's much of a defense for Tyler Kylie Ram after that one, partner, as he already had one misconduct tonight, and this one will finish his game tonight.
Tough one for Kylie Ram as he's getting the boot. And for the Sun Devils, they had it up to this point a very clean period, and with that cleanliness, getting a goal and having the lead. But with 4 minutes left in the game and Kylie Ram getting the gate, it's going to be a 5-minute major to the Sun Devils, and they're going to have to kill a penalty for the rest of this game.
And we talked last night about the special teams bingo. I think some bingos we forgot last night, making sure to show up tonight for everyone that's keeping their card going. A 5-minute major assessed here on Tyler Kylie Ram. And once again, you really can't argue with a spearing call. There's no place in the game for something like that. And he seemed to catch Vockler pretty well. Right in the line of sight of the referee. Vockler seemingly no worse for the wear, though, as he's in front of the bench. Head coach Chad Berman from the University of Arizona calling his lone timeout as he senses the gravity of this moment for the Wildcats. A chance not only to potentially tie this game up and get themselves back into it, but maybe even to take the lead. As we know, on the 5-minute major, they can continue to score at will if they are able to, and the penalty will not subside until those 5 minutes tick off the clock.
Great point mentioned by you. And for the Wildcats, again, it seems like almost half this game they've been on the power play, so might as well finish out the rest of the game on it.
Nathaniel Glenn surely will be called upon multiple times here. The goaltender for Arizona State, he has looked sharp. He's seen a lot of rubber. And the Wildcats now a chance to really pour it on as they look to get this game knotted back up. Chioka, quarterback of the power play, feeds it to Vockler. He'll look for a shot, fans on it. Hello, that's a heat-seeking missile headed right for that Arizona State bench.
Those coaches had to be on high alert, as if you're an Arizona State player, you can't be at fault. You're trying to do anything you can to clear that puck out.
Offensive zone draw, won by the Wildcats. Through traffic, shot on, they score! Looked to be Riley Rugg getting the deflection. And once again, a simple recipe for the Wildcats. A shot through traffic, deflected in front, and they tie this game up only 21 seconds into this 5-minute power play.
And it seems that's how they've gotten really all their goals this weekend, the Wildcats have. And they get another one there, a big one, tying this game up at 3 with still 4 minutes and 39 seconds left to work on the power play to now win the game.
And yes, if you did the math there, folks, should the Sun Devils, are they able to clear the end of this period without giving up another goal, the University of Arizona will stay on the power play to start overtime. As that shot blocked by the Sun Devils. Another block, that puck bouncing around in front. Glenn somehow stops it on the goal line. As you can feel the momentum cranked up to an 11 here right now for the University of Arizona.
Unbelievable athleticism shown by Glenn. He was on one side of his post, and he had to recover all the way over to the other side and keep that puck out.
Once again, off the offensive zone draw, the Wildcats get it. They try to work it back up to the point. A good read by Ben Chase. And the Sun Devils will get it clear. Wildcats with their second power play unit on the ice. Ben Chase knocks it off the defender's stick. Ben Chase will walk it in on his weak side. Tried to spin a ram it towards the net. A nice physical play by the Wildcats knocks him off the puck.
Great hustle by Chase, not afraid to go on the attack, even shorthanded.
Stefan gets it in. He'll touch it over to Curley. Up to the point. Touch pass across. They're trying to work it to that back post. Stefan steps in. Looks for a shot short side. Saved by Glenn. Maloney down low. Touch pass in front. Kept alive by the Wildcats. 2 minutes left here in the third period. That one-timer blockered away by Glenn. And the Sun Devils will elect to just try to kill it in the corner. Olsen steps in. He'll pick up the puck. Needs to get it down the ice, and he does.
Olsen did have a thought cross his mind of, hey, do I go in and try and join the attack? But he ends up going for the smart option just to get some fresh bodies out for Arizona State.
Vockler and that top unit back on the ice now for head coach Chad Berman. Walking it in is Walker. His shot blocked away. Touch pass into the middle of the slot, and a nice stick lift from Luke Chase prevents that opportunity from getting connected. And now the Wildcats have to bring it back in. 1:14 and counting. Chioka. He'll walk it back to the center. Over to Walker. He was looking for a pass over to that right face-off dot. Wouldn't go. Friesen now picks up the puck. Sharp angle shot from Friesen. Saved by Gold. Walker sauces it backwards. Up on the half wall. That was brought in by Vilhauer. Vilhauer goes down low. Walker surveying the scene. Throws one in front. Picked up. Saved by Glenn. Another save by Glenn. Friesen elects to rip that down the half wall, and that will go all the way down the ice to Gold.
30 seconds left. Wildcats maybe have one or two more goes at the net.
Vilhauer on the right wing stops up. Sends it back to Stefan. He walks in the middle, looks for a shot, blocked away by Tonez. Stefan back on it. One-timer blocked away by Cooch. Stefan, another one-timer blocked away. Tie up in front, Maloney can't get it. The Sun Devils will clear it down the ice. And after giving up a goal 21 seconds into the 5-minute major, the Sun Devils put the clamps on the Wildcats. And for the second time in as many nights, we're going to overtime.
What a kill by Arizona State, only giving up a goal on that 5-minute penalty. Of course, they still have to kill off another minute in overtime, but kudos to everybody on the bench. None other than Nathaniel Glenn as well, the goaltender, but all the guys in front of him of really making heady, smart plays, willing to pay the price, blocking all those shots.
And you see Nathaniel Glenn on the Arizona State bench sitting down trying to catch his breath, as I'm sure he is exhausted. Gold, meanwhile, standing on the ice for the University of Arizona, as he has not had a whole lot to do the last 5 minutes and change of this third period. And last night it was on the 4-on-3 that the Wildcats were able to prevail. They were able to take advantage of all that open ice, Brett. Do you think there's going to be any different strategy from the Sun Devils tonight, shorthanded, to not allow them those opportunities on the 4-on-3?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just a matter of them winning this opening draw to start overtime. And if they can dump or at least possess that puck, that should kill off at least half of the remaining penalty time.
Wildcats get their instructions. Sun Devils get theirs. And just like the second period, overtime will be a long change for both of these squads. One of the things that makes it so hard for the Sun Devils shorthanded here is, should they get that clearance, they have a long trek to make back to the bench in order to get the change completed. That was one of the problems we saw last night, as the Wildcats just had the offensive zone opportunities on repeat. Draw at center ice between Chase and Ruh. The Wildcats win it. They'll immediately dump it in. Marchant steps in, trying to hack one up the half wall. Marchant gets the puck over to Olsen, a chance to send it down the ice, and Olsen will get it all the way down on frame to Gold. Olsen now steps in. That should be a penalty. None called here. Chioka walks in a 3-on-2. Ruh back to Chioka. Back to Ruh. Fans on it. Picked up in front. Saved by Glenn, as Vockler was all alone in front of the blue paint. Walker back to Vockler. One-timer. Saved by Glenn again, and he'll cover up.
Unfortunate for Arizona State not being able to get a call with Kate Olsen stepping up at the center ice line. But again, amazing couple stops by Glenn, fighting through traffic and just battling.
Johnny Walker laughing his way up and down the bench. I think a little bit of chagrin there, as he's letting the official know he can't believe the lack of a call. Kate Olsen stays on the ice. Wildcats win the draw. Maloney, head up, looking for the one-timer. He'll rip one right into the breadbasket. 10 seconds remaining on the penalty to Arizona State.
And something we saw with Ben Chase's goal in this third period, if that puck ends up getting caught in Arizona State's end, look for Newland to possibly get a good chance.
Marchant, a chance to rip it all the way around, but it's kept in. A heavy shot goes just wide. The Sun Devils can't get it clear. Maloney back to the point, finds Newland. Newland drops it to Gross off of his stick, but a big check laid in the neutral zone by Marchant. Separates man from puck, and the Sun Devils able to send it down the ice, and they will get a partial change.
Almost had an opportunity with Newland coming out. Just unfortunate timing for Arizona State tonight, get a clean breakout.
And now we have 4-on-4 until the next stoppage due to the conclusion of that 4-on-3 penalty. Vockler walking the blue line. He elects to take a wrister, blocked away by Olsen, and Glenn will cover it up with 3:20 remaining here in overtime, and that will reset us back to 3-on-3 action.
Amazing for the Sun Devils to, again, come away with having to kill off a 5-minute major and still in this hockey game.
Off the draw, won by the Wildcats, and a last-second stick check by King keeps that from being a grade A scoring opportunity for the University of Arizona. King stays heavy on the stick, and he'll get up to Butler. A 3-on-1 for Arizona State. Butler to White, back to Butler. He tries to touch it to King, and it wouldn't go. All alone for the Wildcats, but he couldn't knock the puck down as the Wildcats complete a change. Butler a chance to skate in on the 2-on-1. He can't get a handle on it. In behind the defense. All alone. A diving play by Anthony White breaks up that pass. On the half wall, Sun Devils outman the Wildcats on the puck, and they'll emerge with it as Kramer heads back to the bench.
With all this open space, it's really starting to open up now end to end.
An exciting game here as both teams really cranking up the opportunities in this wide open 3-on-3 overtime setting. Gross bobs and weaves across the blue line. Vockler not making it easy on Gross. He'll accelerate, button hook, back up to the blue line. He just keeps it in. Marchand. Touch pass over to DeVillers. Back to Marchand. Between the legs. DeVillers picks it up now. DeVillers around one, around two, backhand to Marchand. What a save by Gold. Second opportunity from Marchand wouldn't go. And he'll go to the bench for a change. A tire group from Arizona sees them slow it down and delay it as they gain entry. They'll push it back into the neutral zone. Kate Olsen, the only fresh body on for Arizona State. A tired DeVillers and Gross. You can see Gross very vertical, just trying to take up space. Helgson drops it. Stefan walking in. Stefan short angle off the pipe. Kate Olsen up to DeVillers. He'll feed a tired Gross. Gross in, he scores! Matthew Gross calls game. Sun Devils win. Sun Devils up against it in overtime, starting the extra session shorthanded. Able to get the kill, go down the other way with a tired group, and it's Matthew Gross making the power move on his forehand, ripping it past Gold. He was mobbed by his teammates. The head coaching staff comes out, smiles all around for Arizona State as they get a much-needed win in overtime tonight.
Man, you could just feel the excitement as once Arizona State finished off that kill. I think it was a bit of a shock for Arizona as they were on the man advantage for 5 minutes, that I think they were taken back and trying to get back into the rhythm of the game of playing even strength hockey. But the Sun Devils took all that momentum that they were able to build and, boy, finish it up in a spectacular fashion.
As the teams finish the handshakes at center ice, a spirited affair last night and tonight, not a surprise at all, between two bitter interstate rivals. The Wildcats prevailing last night, but Arizona State getting the last laugh of the weekend. On the big sheet here at Mullet Arena, sending the fans home happy. as we will bring you into the broadcast booth in just a moment here, folks, as we get things set up. We thank you all so much for tuning in to tonight's broadcast and sticking with us through a very exciting and interesting affair. A lot of trips to the penalty box by both teams tonight. I'm sure the scorekeeper has a lot on their plate. As we are ready to bring you up here back into the broadcast booth. We welcome you in here. And Brett, an exciting game tonight. I think we expected quite an exciting contest between these teams, although this game wasn't very linear. There was some excitement early, and then the second period, the game really seemed to kind of come to a bit of a halt.
What a win for Arizona State with all the stuff they had to endure, especially all those penalties throughout the whole game, but they're able to stick with it and come out with the victory. And that's something that I'm really excited to see how they progress throughout the year, of taking that effort, that consistent 60 minutes of play throughout the year. And I think they've really grown as a team from the start of the year to where they are now.
And, you know, the 60-minute effort, not always an easy one. Tonight, I think they got a little irresponsible at times. Then they cleaned the game up. A tough call late in the third period sees them have to defend a 5-minute major. And though they did let in a goal, I thought they really showed a lot of character. And you have to look at that defensive unit for them. They really stepped up when they needed to.
They definitely did, and it's a young group for the most part. A couple of those lines, it was just freshmen out there playing. And you saw with Parmar getting his goal tonight, contributing on the offensive end, which was great to see, but paying the price as well of blocking those shots and helping out your goaltender, Glenn, is something that really helped contribute to this win tonight.
And Brett, there were so many key moments in this game and some big performances from a lot of players, but now it's time for us to ask you, who's your player of the game tonight?
It's going to be Matthew Gross, the Las Vegas native. I actually kind of spotlighted him before even he got that overtime winner. We know for his speed and for his skill, but I thought I was really impressed with his defensive play tonight of getting some block shots and being a part of that big penalty kill that allowed Ben Chase to spring him and get that goal to get that early lead in that early third period portion. And Matthew Gross doing it on both ends, that's something you all have to see, especially with the coaching staff.
Viva La Gross and Viva La Devils tonight. A huge win for them, and we thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. We also like to thank a few special people that make this broadcast possible each and every night. Our statistician tonight was Sharon Cooper. Our technical director back at Network Central was the Doc, and our studio engineer was the one and only Elena Vaughn. On behalf of my partner, Brett Vaughn, my name is Niall Cooper, reminding you one final time of tonight's score. The visiting University of Arizona Wildcats 3, the Arizona State Sun Devils 4 in overtime here tonight. The Sun Devils get the win, and we'll see you next time here on ASU ACHA Hockey YouTube.
I see the place that we belong together, like we were something more. And it felt like maybe we could last forever. But you let them to our